Hello and welcome to a well-traveled episode of Go on Shaw TV. Now, you may not know this, but I'm a bit of a car guy, and I love going for drives too. Now, I also like history, so I thought this week we'd combine the two with a short trip up the river towards Yale. Here we go! Come on, little car! Use all 170 horsepower! There we go, finally. That took a bajillion seconds. Now, while we're on the road, I think it's best now to choose the right music for the journey. It's very important, you know. So let's see what we have in here. Oh, Jesse Cook. I actually heard that he performed at the Chilliwack Cultural Center recently, and our very own Danny Goncalves caught up with him to get an inside look at his amazing 20-year career. Let's play the CD.
Instrumental musician Jesse Cook performed live in Chilliwack recently, promoting his 9th studio album, One World. Filled with Spanish flamenco guitar and percussion beats from around the world, the musician talks about how this album is the perfect summary for all he's learned in his 20-year career.
On every record, I've tried to take my music or my style of guitar playing and put it in a different context. So for Nomad, I went to Cairo and recorded with musicians there, and Madrid and London. On the Rumba Foundation, I went down to Colombia, recorded with musicians there. Also, I recorded with Cuban musicians. And then on this record, you know, it wasn't really about going to a geographic location as much as it was just working with a concept. You know, that idea that we as I think as people, we tend to focus on what separates us from other cultures. And I always feel like with music, if you pull your focus back farther enough, you realize that in fact, you know, the things that are similar, the things that connect us with, you know, in terms of music, there's much more of that than there are differences. I mean, in fact, that you pull your focus back far enough and it seems like music it's all branches of the same tree. So I wanted to do a record which connected all of these different types of music from different parts of the world.
It's a passion Cook has had his entire life. Reflecting on his childhood, the guitarist remembers visiting his father in the south of France, who just so happened to live next to Nicolas Reyes, lead singer of the Gypsy Kings.
One night we were sitting at my dad's house and he was playing me this record of this local band. He said, "Oh, you should check these guys out, they're really great." And it was, of course, the Gypsy Kings. And when the record finished, we heard what we thought was somebody else playing the same record. And, oh, hey, the neighbor's playing it. And then we realized, no, that's real, that's live, you know. And it seemed to be coming from the roof, so we climbed up to my dad's roof. And you know, in Europe, they don't have front yards and backyards, they just have these rooftop little terraces. And so over on the neighbor's terrace, there was like this gypsy jamboree going on, and my dad said, "Quick, you know, strum your guitar." So they finished a song, I strummed, and they were all like, "Hey, Benny!" And next thing I know, I was jamming with the Gypsy Kings.
From then on, Jesse knew the guitar was going to be his life. He would eventually win a Juno for his 2000 album Freefall, and open for famous musicians such as Diana Krall, B.B. King, and Ray Charles.
The thing that was the most amazing for me was actually sitting backstage while Ray Charles was on. You know, like I finished my set, and then the band and we just went and sat like at the back of the stage, just behind where he was playing on the, you know, on the flight cases or whatever, and it was like listening to the record. You know, nothing had faded for him. He was just like right to the end. He was just in complete control as an artist. It was really amazing.
Being an instrumental musician, one can assume that the songs may have a backstory to the sound. But according to Jesse, his music is open to interpretation.
It's funny, I get asked that question a lot. I think people always, you know, imagine that there's some story, you know, like, "Oh, why were you here? You were just standing on the cliff and the water is crashing on the shore below you," you know, all this stuff. And it's like, no, I was really just kind of playing until the hairs stand up on the back of my neck. I go, oh, with instrumental music, its weakness is its strength. That is to say, you know, the thing I love about songs is that there's lyrics, there's a story you can tell with them, and that, you know, can sort of take you into the music. With instrumental music, there is no story. But at the same time, then it's wide open to interpretation. And it really can go just about anywhere, and it's really up to people to, you know, find themselves in that song.
At the Chilliwack Cultural Center, I'm Danny Goncalves for Go on Shaw TV.